Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, today they call it Cyber Monday. It's the internet version of Black Friday, right? Where everyone's got to just get online and buy. Not that I or many of you care about, but I thought it was interesting. It's kind of been a tradition. I mean, how many years everyone would sit back and laugh and kind of point out how the Black Friday people would just go crazy. You know, they'd show up at 3 o'clock in the morning and they'd rush the stores. And every year there were stories of people getting injured and being run over by all this because it was this big feeding frenzy to get to the stores to save $1 or $2. And we're not really seeing that much anymore. People aren't doing that. They're focusing more of their attention and spending online, which is not, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not 100% sure it's a good thing, but it's just, this is not a prepping thing. This is not it's just something that I noticed. Anyway, speaking of that, I mean, if we're going to talk about Cyber Monday and Black Friday and all that kind of stuff, might as well mention that my locals channel, which is the private membership group, and that's free speech, and I make completely separate content for over there. I do medical training videos, and sometimes it's just me casually talking to you as we would if we were sitting across the table having a cup of coffee, that kind of thing. The regular price, if you bought it all year long, annual, is $36. I've been running a sale on it, but today only, I've lowered the price down to $25 for an entire year. So it's a one-time $25 fee, and that gets you an entire year's worth of access. I post content over there almost every day, but you can go down in the link in the description or in the pinned comment, and it's today only. $25 for an entire year's membership. That's just slightly over $2 a month, and you'll have access to that. And then it's not just watching content that I put on over there. It's like its own little tribe, little group. So there's other people that are members. They're posting stuff too, and you can interact with them. It's kind of like a private Facebook group, I guess, would be something that would be comparable to it, except it's completely free speech. You're not censored. No one's censored. I own the content, and I don't censor unless it's just really vulgar and, personally attacking and that kind of stuff. But anyway, so it's $25 today only. You need to use the discount code member25, and all the information will be down in the pinned comment. You can go over there and sign up and save a few dollars if you're interested. If not, don't worry about it. Big news today is that Joe Biden pardoned his son, Hunter Biden. And I'm a little perplexed on this one. I don't know why it's such big news, because, I mean, yes, the guy is probably a very horrible person based on everything that we know, and most definitely deserves prison time. Many crimes, and most of them are completely disgusting. That part 100% agree with. But I'm just surprised that people are shocked that Joe Biden pardoned him. And I know that Joe Biden has said several times, but I can remember back when he first said that I'm not going to pardon my son. I'm not going to use the power of president to pardon my son. I thought that's a complete lie. I mean, what kind of father? And he claims that he and his son Hunter are close. If you have the power to, keep your child from going to prison, most would do that. So that I'm not surprised. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying it's right or moral or anything like that. I don't know why it's such big news. I don't know why people are so shocked that Joe Biden lied. It's not like it's the first time. I mean, anyways, it makes me wonder, is it just because it's a slow news day and there's not really a whole lot of other exciting things, and that's just one of those things that just all of a sudden becomes viral online? Or is it some kind of distraction from something else? I don't know. The conflict in Syria is just getting crazier and crazier. Like I said the other day, it's just, yes, this stuff's been going on over there for a few years now, but it's like overnight it just exploded. And there's some suspicious reasons as why that happened, just days before all this really kind of exploded. I believe it was one of the ministers of Israel met with Turkey, and then stuff started going on with Turkey, and the next thing you know, these rebel groups supported by Turkey are trying to take over cities, and they're actually doing that. But the point is that it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's pretty horrible there. And how this all fits in the bigger piece, this puzzle piece fits into the bigger puzzle, we probably won't know for a while. I do think that it's just showing the general direction of where everything is going. That we've got to, if you step back and objectively as much as you can, look at all the events that's happened over the last several months and compare that to how this would look if there was some kind of global takeover, if there wanted to be this massive shift. And I think once you start to look at it that way and kind of keep your mind open that way, it starts to become obvious, what's going on. Or at least, even though you may not know exactly, you're like, aha, this makes sense. This makes sense. And I've said this before, and I feel it's necessary to say again, that I've never believed, excuse me, that this evilness that they portray, that the very woke left, very far left, vulgarity, sinful, satanic, like overtly, okay? I'm not talking that it is Satan, I'm talking overtly, like over the top evil, that it's just slaps you in the face. I've said for a long time that I don't think that that's their intentions to move that direction. I don't think that that's what they want. For instance, all this transgender stuff. I don't really think that that's what they're wanting to end up with. The ones that are ruling everything. I think that all of that very overtly dark, evil, grotesque, vulgar stuff was to cause such an upheaval and such a massive pushback that when this over here pops up that looks good, that looks righteous, that looks, moral, that looks conservative or whatever, that everyone would just rapidly rush to that, because it didn't matter necessarily if it truly was good. It was obviously better than this. It's kind of like these elections. It's always the same thing. My whole life I've heard it said, well, it's voting for the lesser of two evils. Well, would you really want the other guy? Yeah, this guy isn't that great, but the other guy is really bad. And humans, Americans, we've been conditioned by that for years, our whole lives, that you're not electing Jesus, so take the best that you can get and be satisfied with this godless, immoral person, but at least they're better than the other one, right? And so I think that's what's going on with all this stuff that's happening, that for the last few years there's been this overt push to very dark, evil, immoral, anti-family, anti-patriotic, anti-God, it's just insane amount. Think about it. Think about the last few years, how it was pushed like to the extreme, to the very limits, to where it just didn't make any sense. Like, even if that was their intention to move in that direction, why was it there's such intensity to push so hard? You have to know that they'd have to know that there's going to be some pushback, right? And it was like they didn't care. And like I said, I think, I've always believed that the reason why, whether it was transgender or these global policies, the stuff you'd hear from this, Noah Yuval Harari and all this kind of stuff, that, you're going to be brain chipped and you're going to be, have all your rights taken away, and they're going to know your thoughts, and, all this kind of stuff, that it just, why would they be saying that kind of stuff? Why would they be so out there talking about how you're not going to own anything? You're not going to own a house. You're not even going to own an appliance. Remember those videos where, you don't own a car, you don't own an appliance. If you need one, some AI robot would deliver, a washer and dryer to your house, and once you're done using it, they take it back. It was insane. No land, farming is bad. Don't grow a garden, that's bad. All of this absurd stuff. And I think, again, that it was to push everything so far, like this big rubber band, stretch it out as far as you can to get to the left, to where it's just absurd. I mean, there were people that were left-leaning people that were starting to speak up and saying, this is a little crazy. This is a little much, right? Like, when you got left-leaning people saying that. And I think the intent was to stretch that rubber band so far to the left that, it was just naturally going to go wham all the way to the right, to this far right that looks good, right? Looks good. I mean, anything looks better than what we've had, right? But it looks good. It looks like we're going in this godly direction. It looks like we're going into this, very moral direction. And because people are trying to run so far from this side, they're not really taking the time to analyze what's going on over here. All they see is that it's way better than this. It's conservative, and it seems to be biblically based, and it seems to be freedom-minded, and seems to be peaceful, and so we're gonna run as far as we can, fast as we can, from here to here, and not take the time to really analyze it. And I think that's what's going on. And I'm not just speaking about Donald Trump. I know that there's some of you, your blood is, it's just starting to bubble and boil. I'm not just speaking of Donald Trump. I'm speaking of everything, the whole world. And I think you're going to start seeing. I mean, look, the other, was it a couple of days ago, Justin Trudeau had dinner with Donald Trump, and we're all like, all smiles and everything. This is one of those guys that's been the far left, and it's quite possible you're going to see this rubber band back on a lot of policies. And they will allow the people to claim that the people were victorious, right? So that's how psyops work. It kind of messes you up here. And so the people will be able to cheer and claim and say, hey, yes, we won. We did exactly what we wanted to do. We got as far away from this far left, Marxist, godless, satanic garbage, and got things back to over here. Yay! We're victorious. When in fact, that was the plan, was to direct people that direction, and not to what is a true righteous, but a false righteous, a false peace, a false hope, a false, all that. And I think that's what I think is happening. So we need to be mentally aware of this so that we don't get caught up, and that we do analyze, because that, like I just said, you're running so far from the left over to here that you're not sitting there and really analyzing stuff and looking through at things with discernment and balance and critical mindset. And we need to be doing that. That's what we need to be doing. When we hear that something's happening or something that we're all supposed to get around, we got behind, right? We need to analyze this and start to ask some questions and figure out, is this truly genuine? Is there something that just doesn't smell right? The smell test is always a good initial thing to do, because like I said, I think that's where the globalists are pushing us. They're pushing us to the opposite direction, on purpose. We need to be ready for that. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. And don't forget about the $25 sale for your membership. It's member25, the discount code, down in the description and the pinned comment below, and I'll catch you in the next video.